Okay, I'm super excited. This is looking really good. So you can see the soot in my wax, and you can start to see what the pattern will look like once we get the wax off, but I will show you how to take it off. So we use taper candles. If you use a full new taper candle, it's really high up and hard to work with. So that's why we use like old advent calendar stubs or advent candle stubs. These, I think we had a lot of stubs left over from a wedding at the Germanic American Institute. Yeah, so scrounge, see what you can find, because it's easier to work a little lower. First things first, you get your paper towel, keep it away from the flame. We've had a few flames in my previous classes. Really small, able to blow it out, but you want to take off the plug over your hole first so that the air inside the egg doesn't heat up and pop and crack your egg. So holding it to the side of the flame, we wait until it gets shiny and melts, and sometimes it'll go onto your flame and you'll be able to see when the wax plug is actually out by the air coming out of your egg. Now we want to hold it to the side of the flame so that it doesn't get sooty and stain the egg with soot or burn the egg. If you see like black soot off the top of your flame, your egg is too close and you're going to stain or burn it. In my German tutorial, I already mentioned this, but one year a woman was making a chicken on her egg, and she's like, oh, I can't get this spot off. Is this ever going to come off? And I was like, oh no, I'm sorry, you burnt the egg. And she's like, oh, I guess we'll just have burnt chicken tonight. So you got to just take it all with a grain of salt. It is a process and stuff goes wrong sometimes. So that's why I recommend with your first egg that you do as you're practicing this, don't get into some huge, fancy, really elaborate multi-step pattern, because then maybe at the end it's all just gonna fall apart anyway, you know. So it's better to experiment and practice with something you're not as involved with. Now if you are like me, you're just gonna go ahead and do whatever the heck you want, so have fun with it, but just know stuff goes wrong all the time. Oh, I can tell that my flame is not very high and strong right now. That's one reason why we use taper candles at the end, because the flames are taller and stronger than tea light candles, and it's easier to hold the egg next to it. Yeah. If you're doing a lot of eggs and want to take the wax off all at once, I have yet to experiment with this actually, believe it or not. Using your drying racks, like the wooden boards with the nails in them, you put your eggs on there and set the oven to low and let the wax melt off onto a tray or onto the board itself. I suppose you could put tin foil on it too, and have all the eggs done at once so you don't have to do this tedious process with a whole ton of eggs. But yeah, don't touch the egg where it was just right next to the flame. It does get really hot and you can burn some fingers that way. It's coming along quite nicely. And once we get to the multicolor tutorial, this is just, it's so fun to see how it's going to turn out, because you have an idea, or you've been following a pattern or something that somebody else has done, but oh man, it's fun at the end to see it. Yep. I always get so excited to see what people have made in class. So please send me a photo, a video. If you want, we can post it to the website as well to share with each other. That's one thing I miss about having it in person, is that you guys can learn from each other and share with each other what you're doing. Okay, Now these wax paper towels then we use as fire starters for our garden. Lagerfeuer, what's the English word? Like a campfire or something, a bonfire. I don't know how it works if it's full of dye as well, because the dyes are chemicals. Probably don't want to be burning chemicals. But you need to make sure that you get all of the wax off, especially if you're going to be doing a layer of polyurethane on top, because the polyurethane won't take if there's wax still on the egg. So at the very end, I go around and I put the egg up really gently against the flame to see if it starts to get that wet, melted wax look again. Yeah, I have it go just until it starts looking really wet, and then I wipe. You see, I don't hold the egg next to the flame for all that long. Just looking for that melted wax and that shininess. Now, if you just have raw beeswax and it's not already tinted black, or you didn't have a lot of soot from when you applied it, it's important to go back around, because some of those little wax dots or little bits of wax are easily overlooked. There, that was a spot that I didn't see before. Feel with your fingers, see if you can feel any bumps where you've missed a spot, like I did in those dots. And there's no rhyme or reason to where you should start or what direction you need to go to wipe off, except just watch out for where you just had the flame, because it's hot there and you don't want to put your fingers right on that spot right away. And again, you need to take off the hole first so that the air inside doesn't heat up too much, and crack your egg open at the very end of the process after you've done all the work of preparing it to look beautiful. But even then, depending on the crack, you could maybe even glue it back together. As I've shown in some other videos, like I've saved some of my broken eggs and they're still beautiful. You can hardly tell if they're in a stand. Oh, you know what? I was going to do this one to hang, and I did my butterfly upside down, so I can't hang it. Bummer. Oh well. Just the way it is. I could have a dancing butterfly that's flying upside down. I don't know. Hang it above Melanie's crib. Let her have a butterfly mobile. Oh, my other candle flame just went out. I suppose that's okay. I don't need to use that anymore. I can go on to a regular tea light candle. There we go. I did it. So that is just a brown egg and vinegar. You can make some beautiful patterns with that too. Play around with the technique without all the fancy tools or dyes. Yeah. So yeah, you could coat that with polyurethane if you had that to make it shiny and to protect it a little bit more, or just leave it as is. Yeah, beautiful. Show me yours.